Hello there and welcome to a World Cup preview for Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet. Pleased to say former England midfielder Jamie Redknapp here to preview this one as ever. Jamie, before we delve into your predictions too much, how open is this tournament? You know, how excited are you about the possible permutations?
I think it's so open, Ed. I really do. I mean, you look at the World Cups previous years, you can normally say, well, Spain looked like the outstanding candidate. You look at this one, you think, well, how fit is Messi going to be? How fit is Ronaldo? Diego Costa at Spain, he's obviously got a bit of an injury as well. So difficult to predict, but I think that's what makes it such an exciting tournament to look forward to. So you've got to really be careful who you choose. Top goal scorer market's obviously one that everyone's looking at as well, but I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant, this World Cup. And I think because our Premier League in this country is so big, we get so excited about that. It takes a little bit of time for the end of the season to sort of finish, and then now everybody's got that World Cup fever. I'm really looking forward to it.
They've got their wall charts and sticker albums now as well, haven't they?
Match attacks, my kids, they're all on match attacks everywhere.
Panini still in my day. Now, country of Brazil, still traumatised by losing the World Cup the last time it was played there, of course, 1950. Uruguay upset them. But Luis Felipe Scolari's team are favourites with Sky Bet. Just run through a couple of the outrights there. 11-4. Argentina are 4-1. Then Spain, the reigning champions, and Germany, they're both at 6s. Then comes Belgium at 20-1, France 22, England and Italy at 25s. Is that just about right, you think, the way they priced that?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, Brazil to be favourites, I think, obviously, because they're the home nation, but there's a huge amount of pressure on them. You know, I think internally, even as a country, if it goes wrong for them, you can see some rioting, you can see it all going wrong, and that just adds to the pressure.
It's a bit social unrest in the background,
absolutely, and you just think, once they go out the tournament, how interested are people going to be, all the stadia, how much it's cost, etc. There's a huge amount of pressure on those players. I look at them as a team, and I think, well, their centre forward is Fred. He wouldn't get in most Premier League teams. I think he's an average player, but he's got so many good footballers around him. Are they the outstanding team? Probably not. I mean, you look at Argentina. If Messi can get his fitness back to where he was a couple of years ago, and he's had that little bit of a rest now, you've got to fancy Argentina.
Has he been taking it easy this season? Some people criticise him.
Yeah, possibly. You don't know. Listen, one thing we'll never know what Messi's thinking. Has he been saving himself for the World Cup, or is he just worried about his body? I remember playing alongside Michael Owen. We had very similar hamstring injuries. Yeah, it's like kryptonite to these players. They never trust their body again. They're never able to sprint like they could. So who knows? But if Messi catches fire, I think with the group they're in, I think not only is he a good bet for Argentina to win, I also think for him as a top goal scorer, you know, they're in a group with Bosnia, Iran, Nigeria. You can see him get at least a hat-trick against Iran, and no disrespect to them, but I just think he's such a quality player.
Well, he does lead the. We'll talk about that market now, and the Golden Boot market is one that he definitely leads. We talked about Fred. You know, he scored in a recent friendly for Brazil, 18-1. I wonder whether he was a bad bet, even though he's maybe not the most dynamic of players. No. And generally, overall, we're not necessarily looking for a player who plays for a winning team, are we? Because if you go back, it's only 5 or 6 goals, apart from Ronaldo in 2002, that's won the Golden Boot in the World Cup.
Listen, it's all about picking. If you look at, for instance, Spain, Netherlands, and Chile, Australia. Can you see anybody really could score 2-3 goals in one of those games? Probably not. Australia are going to be quite difficult to beat. But as I just mentioned there with Argentina, the group that they're in, you can see Messi getting a hat-trick in one of those games. Nigeria will never be easy. Obviously, they're a very powerful African side. But Iran, you can see if Messi's on form, 2 or 3 goals, and all of a sudden he's got a little bit of a head of steam. That's where players get their goals. You very rarely see hat-tricks in a quarter-finals or semi-finals or a final unless you're Jeff Hurst. It just doesn't happen. So I think that's where you've got to be quite clever in that market and just think, well, where's the best who's got a reasonable group? If there's any candidates or players that you like, maybe France, Ecuador, Switzerland, Honduras, maybe there might be someone there. But I think that Messi, for that reason, makes him a really good bet. How did you say? Was 7-1?
Yeah, we talked about as well, didn't we, before, about assists, because last time Thomas Muller, he got the Golden Boot because he had more assists. A lot of people finished on 5 goals, but he had that extra criteria, which I suppose Messi, given his creative ability, that enhances his case as well.
But it is also injury permitting as well. You look at Ronaldo. How fit is Ronaldo? If Ronaldo's 100% fit, of course he can score goals as well, you know. So they're the best 2 players in the world by a long way. Then you've got Suarez, or, you know, obviously it's debatable from there on in. But if Suarez is fit, maybe he might nick a few goals, but he looks like he'll probably miss the first game. You can't, if you're the manager, you're not going to risk him until they have to go and play England or Italy. So, I mean, that's also one that you'd maybe look at. But for me, Messi is that outstanding candidate because of the group they're in.
Quick word on the region the winning country hails from, because there's so many markets on skybet.com, and that's one of them, obviously dominated by Europe and South America. Do you see it being between those sides? Any chance of, I don't know, Ivory Coast shocking the world or something like that?
Ivory Coast obviously got good players, haven't they? But Drogba, 5 years ago, you'd say absolutely got an outstanding forward. They've got Yaya Toure as well, Wilfred Boney. But no, I cannot see it at the moment. But as I say, I don't think that anything is going to surprise anybody in this World Cup. It really wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise if England got to the final or they get knocked out in the group stages. It's as simple as that, because we just don't know. They're a young team. They're going to be exciting. It's not in Roy Hodgson's DNA to attack. Yeah. It really isn't. We all know that. But I just think with this team, there's no choice. We haven't got the best defence, but we look like we've got some exciting players going forward. So it's very difficult. That dilemma for him is how he sets the team up. But I do hope we attack. That's something that he doesn't like doing, but hopefully we do.
The Italy, 4-time World Cup winners, just lead England for favouritism in the group. Then come Uruguay, who've won it twice, but not for 64 years, so maybe that's not too relevant. They made the semi-finals last time, as we said. How do you see that group shaping up? And Italy's form horrible until they beat Fluminense. They've gone 7 games without a win in friendlies.
It's not the group of death, but it's not the easiest group you're ever going to have. I mean, Italy usually starts slowly. I mean, I think they're a good side. They're not a great side. You know, they've got some good players. Obviously, Pirlo is a player that you've got to try and stop, but he's not getting any younger.
There's no excuses for not stopping him now, is there, given what happened in Euro 2012?
It's very difficult to stop good players. Yeah. Everybody says, oh, you got, you know, players like him, they find time, they find space, you know, and it's very. What do? Do you go and say to Jack Wilshere or somebody, got to go man-to-man marking him?
Would it be Rooney?
It's not that easy. Rooney might come and drop deep, but that's not in Rooney. Rooney's a forward. They think differently to a defender. So Rooney's going to obviously trying to get on the end of a cross. All of a sudden the ball falls out. He might come to Pirlo and he hits that one killer pass. You know, he is a brilliant technician, one of the best I've seen playing in that sort of defensive role, because he can't really move. I mean, he's not a great athlete, but he's just technically so good, and they're hard to stop, these players. It's easier said than done.
It certainly is. Let's look at the kind of progression of England, where they might end up. It's all permutations, isn't it? They could get the winner of Group B, possibly in the quarter-finals. Because it's in the last 16, it's a match-up with Group C teams. You're telling me that you think perhaps a quarter-finals, finish isn't unrealistic. They're 6-4 to make the last 8 with Sky Bet.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I look at the squad. I think there's a lot of pace in it. A bit of pressure. I think the player, I played in major tournaments for England, played in European Championships when he was here in this country, and the pressure is immense, but it's also a buzz. It gives you that little bit of confidence. I think the important thing is we start well. You don't want to lose the first game. If we were to get a draw against Italy, it wouldn't be the worst. It's not the best result, but if you can get at least you get a point, get that little bit of confidence, I think we can get out of the group. And if we don't,
does it matter if they win the group or not? Because you look at that group C in Colombia, Greece, Ivory Coast, you're not really sure what
scares you there. I mean, exactly. You're going to play Colombia. Their best player's not going to be there. Ivory Coast, decent side, but it shouldn't really scare you. Japan or Greece. So once you get there, I mean, you just want to get out of the group. I think first or second, you offer Roy Hodgson out of the group. That's all he wants to do. Yeah. Just get through to the latter stages, and then who knows? You might just get a little bit of luck. Oxlade-Chamberlain maybe comes back to fitness as well, because he's going to be important for us. The fact that he's training now, he's a sort of player that you're going to need, because he did so well in the Confederations Cup as well last year, and he's got that little bit of pace that you need from midfield.
Certainly has. England's top scorer, Jamie, interesting, Daniel Sturridge only scored 4 goals for his country, but he leads that market ahead of Wayne Rooney, who got 7 in 6 in qualifying and 39 for his country overall. Do you agree with that rationale?
I do. I would go with Daniel Sturridge. Yeah. I think he's our top scorer. That's who I would go with. I think he's got a little bit of pace about him and confidence. He scored obviously in the last game at Wembley, and I think he'll enjoy it. He looks to me like he's quite relaxed, and he's got special talent. That's what you're looking for. Apart from that, Rooney. But
yeah. Who would take penalties for England, do you think? Would it be Gerrard or would it be Rooney?
Well, I'm not sure actually. I mean, that's a good question. I think that's if Gerrard's taken a lot this year and has had obviously a great ratio in the ones that he's taken. But Rooney will obviously want to get on the score sheet as well. Yeah. But being the captain, I think Steven Gerrard will probably take him. Not
many goals from midfield as well, which is in consideration for people looking at the market there. You've got people like Jordan Henderson who've sort of 4 or 5.
We haven't got, that's one thing, yeah. I mean, Steven Gerrard, especially now he's playing in this slightly deeper role, which he will play. Jack Wilshere's not a prolific goal scorer, and nor is Jordan Henderson. But that's where you maybe look at the 2 wide men. If he does play with 1 up and 2 wide, maybe look at Rooney on one side, or Sterling, or I'd love to see Ross Barkley play. Yeah. That's what I say. I mean, that for me is so. I look at him. And if I was an opposition player, he would scare the life out of me.
When you're tired as well at the end of the game.
As a midfield player, I mean, people talk about bringing him on the end. Start him. He's such a talent, this lad. I really hope that we start him. People are talking about Sterling. I just think Ross Barkley is a very special footballer. This is up to Roy Hodgson, but I would start him. I think he's that good.
Quick, what's the key for England? Because you're part of the Euro '96 squad, which arguably, apart from '90s, been the most successful England team at a major tournament since '66. What was the key to that?
Winning
momentum?
games. Don't let anyone kid you. People talk about how we've got a great team spirit. You don't have a good team spirit when you're losing games. It's the biggest load of rubbish ever. The only way to create a team spirit is by winning football matches. You win one, there's a great atmosphere. If you lose one, all of a sudden the people aren't playing, maybe get a little bit of a voice. They're not happy, they're a bit disgruntled, they're not in there. But I do think it looks a good atmosphere at the moment.
Yeah.
But we beat Italy, all of a sudden there's a little bit of a snowball effect. Everyone then starts a feel-good factor. Then who knows what might happen. And as I said to you before we came on air, this is a sort of tournament where it wouldn't surprise if England didn't get out of the group or they got to the final and won it. It's like that, you know, and I really do believe that. I look at the players we've got and look at all the other teams. There isn't that much to fear. Big name players have got injuries. A couple of teams aren't playing as well as what they like.
We haven't talked anything about Spain quickly before.
Oh, Spain are a great side, aren't they? But you know, Costa, how fit is he? Xavi and Iniesta are obviously very good players. Defensively, they're strong enough. I mean, they won the European Championships without playing with a striker.
Yeah.
This year they've got one of the best in Diego Costa. So, and they will keep the ball. And in that heat, that's the key. That's my only worry of England. We have to keep the ball in midfield. If you start giving the ball away, trying to get the ball back in that heat, virtually impossible, and that's something we've really suffered with. 4-4-2 will not work for England in this. We have to go and play an extra man in midfield and combat other teams and keep the ball and take the sting out of games sometimes. Otherwise, it'll be a very difficult tournament for us.
Just can't wait. Jamie, quickly, your predictions. Give us a couple of World Cup general ones and maybe an England special or a...
Well, I think I want to go with a bit of an Argentina double, really. I look at Argentina's group. I think they've got good players. Defensively, I look at all of them and I think the same thing. No one's really got an outstanding defence, but what you're looking for is outstanding individuals. I was sort of edging towards Brazil, but now I look at Argentina and I think as long as Messi's fit, you know, the players they've got as well, I know Aguero, Higuain, and that little maestro Messi. So I'm going to go with Argentina as my bet to win it, and Messi at 7-1 I think is a good each way bet as well for top scorer.
And England, just Sturridge top scorer, probably the best
yeah,
bet,
Sturridge top scorer. I mean, any bets on England to get out of the group, I think they will. I really do. And then just take it, have a look at it from now. I think the confidence will start to improve. This is probably the first tournament there's no major pressure on them, as long as we get out of the group. If we don't get out of the group, it's been a disappointment. Well, more than that, it's been a disaster because you have to get out of the group. It's important. But with the players we've got, we have to have some belief, we have to attack. And I'd love to see Ross Barkley play. That's my only thing. I look at England, I think, get Barkley in that team because he will scare the life out of players.
I'll tell you what, Jamie, after your goal at Soccer Aid the other day, you could do with you. Striking from distance.
It was Patrick Kilty in goal. Let's not get too excited.
Jamie, appreciate it. Enjoy the tournament.
Thanks,
so there we have it. All the big World Cup markets, so many of them available at skybet.com. Also look out for Jamie's individual match previews on skysports.com. We'll see you again soon.